So, as most of you are aware, the new open beta is released tomorrow, and we just got the patch notes for tomorrow's release. And I just want to go over a couple of the biggest changes for those of you that haven't really been following or just got into Path of Exile. Um, One of the notes said that they are continued to incrementally improve the art, effects, environments, and sound. So it's always nice to see the game get better looking. It already looks amazing, but every improvement is better. Especially the UI is a little iffy right now, but it's still in beta, right? So some of the big changes they did to passives, they added a new passive called Zealot's Oath that adds life regeneration to your energy shield instead of your life, which I think they added that to kind of balance the changes towards chaos inoculation. Because if you haven't heard about that, they changed Chaos Inoculation to not be immune to Chaos damage. Instead, Chaos damage now reduces your energy shield. So that will help out for that. And they also added a Chaos resistance now as well. So Chaos Inoculation is not going to be quite as powerful as it was, but it's still going to be quite good, especially with these changes. Another huge change to a lot of people's spec would be for dual totem. It makes it now so you can summon another totem, but you can't deal damage directly. So direct damage spells, dots, all that kind of stuff won't work. Traps, minions, auras, things like that you could still indirectly do damage from, curses, things like that. But you'll never not be able to do direct damage spells anymore if you take that ability. It's still going to be great. Most people that are playing dual spork will probably still play it. It's still going to be viable, especially in a group setting. You'll pretty much play as a support character with lots of auras, minions to block, and double totems, whether they be one skelly totem, one spork, or both. A surprising change, or not change, I guess in this case, would be no changes to PvP. So everything is still going to be the same when it comes to PvP. They added a bunch of microtransaction features like customizing the name of your stash slots and different animations for abilities and things like that. I'm not going to really go into detail there, but you can always check that out on the website. Another one that was annoying was they added an icon on the world map to show waypoints when they're underneath an overland one. So that'll always be helpful. Another one is sound effects associated with trading, partying, or receiving whispered messages, which seemed small, but when you're alt-tabbed out and you get a whisper, it's always nice to hear a sound effect. Life regeneration is now shown as a per second instead of per minute, which is way easier to compare items, and it also is going to affect the new Keystone passive Zealot's Oath, which increases life regeneration towards your energy shield. Another huge change is the Bandit leaders are now going to give different stat bonuses. They used to, during all three acts, give the same stat bonuses, but now they changed. You have to look that up. There's a lot of different ones. It's relatively the same, like kind of. Oak will give HP and then physical damage reduction and max endurance discharges, things like that. Oh, and another awesome change. This is probably my favorite change since I'm probably going to be rolling a minion witch instead of a bow ranger. Changed over, I believe. They reduced the life progression of summon minions, but they increased their base life in the beginning and added a small amount of elemental resistances, which is great news because that was one thing that sucked about being a summoner in the beginning of the game, was that your minions were so weak you couldn't use them without at least getting the plus 30% HP gem, and then as many HP percentage minion passives as possible. And now they'll be able to, start off right away as soon as you get the gem, probably. Diamond flasks are out of the game until they rebalance them, which I can understand because they were pretty powerful. An interesting one is they added different size packs So you'll see, small packs, huge packs, and they relocated them to where they are. So you might not see any mobs for a while, and then hit a huge pack or things like that. Unique items have been rebalanced. Mostly have been increased in power, which is good. And lastly, this one really made me happy was skeleton casters at low levels have had their damage reduced, but increased it later, which is awesome because if you've ever been, and I'm assuming if you have been or played, you've been to Upper Prison, and Upper Prison has a bunch of skeleton casters, and they will annihilate you. Um, so I'm glad they changed that. It'll make it easier for people that are starting in the beginning of the game. It seems like they balanced a lot of things to make the beginning of the game easier, the end of the game harder, which is good because they're having this influx of people that might get discouraged right away if the monsters and stuff were too hard in the beginning of the game, which is really unique to this game because it seems like the game is harder in the beginning of the game than it was at the end of the game because you had no abilities and mobs did a lot of damage and stuff to you. But they're still balancing it, still beta and whatnot. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. Less than 24 hours until the open beta is released. I can't wait to see you guys there. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to message me or write down in the comments section, and I'll check you guys out.